Hello, my name's Julia Muse from the Muse Veterinary Clinic in Haywards Heath. I'm going to show you today how to body condition score your pet. This is my best friend Jazzy who'll be helping. We use body condition scoring as a way of judging whether we're feeding exactly the right amount to our best friends or not. So if the body condition score is too low, we need to feed a little bit more each day. If the body condition score is too high, we may be overfeeding our pets. Now there's just 3 simple skills you need to learn to be able to do this. Easily learned, and I'm going to show them to you now. The first skill is learning to look at her from above. So we'll ask Jazzy to stand up. Jazzy, come stand up. Good lass. Up she comes. There we go. So, looking at her from above, ideally what you need to see is that her ribs are wider than her waist, which is narrower than her hips. So her silhouette from above should look like an hourglass, a bit like Marilyn Monroe. If she's slab-sided or she comes out at the waist relative to the ribs, then we may be overfeeding her. That's skill number 1. Skill number 2 is to learn to look at her silhouette from the side. Jazzy, come this way a little. Good lass, good girl. So, if I put one of my fingers here on her belly and the other here on her breastbone, hopefully you can see my 2 fingers and you can see that this one is higher than this one. In an ideal world, this one on her belly should be a bit higher. This dog is slightly overweight. That's criterion number 2, our second skill learnt already. Now our third skill we need to learn is how to feel for the ribs and see if they're perfectly covered. So the covering we're feeling is obviously the fur, and under the fur the skin. And then in an ideal world, target weight pet, the ribs will be directly under the skin with no intervening fat. So how can we learn that? How can we practice that? What I would suggest is use your own knuckles as a practice tool. So we've got 4 knuckles here, and you can use your finger to feel for bone directly under skin with no intervening fat. To do this skill, you need to keep your fingers straight. All right, so you practice like this. This is what her ribs should feel like, a xylophone. If you turn your hand over and feel the same knuckles but from this way up, this pet, if this were a pet's ribs, this pet is slightly overweight. So this is a useful practice. Just for interest, if you fold up your fist and your finger going along the knuckles falls between our simulated ribs here, this pet would be underweight, too skinny. Okay? So Jazzy, come this way. Good lass. Wait. So when I stroke along this part of her ribs, not down here, we're doing it up here. When we stroke along here, we want to feel this kind of effect, not that. I'm afraid this pet needs a little less dinner tonight. Thank you, Jazzy.